Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the village of Cary for November 19th, 2024 to order with roll call, please.
Collier.
Here.
Dudek.
Here.
McAlpine.
Here.
Walworth. Here. Weinhammer.
Here.
Koenig.
Here, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now moving to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment on any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. Thank you. Martha Ritter.
Hello, Martha Ritter, 239 North School Street, Cary, Illinois. Is there a form that you fill out to get TIF money? How do you get it how do you get a form? From where?
You can go through the Community Development Department for a project.
Okay. I know how to do it. Thank you. Have a great day.
Dave Gwynn.
Good evening. Dave Gwynn, 321 Bryan Drive, Cary, regarding Decker speeding issues. First of all, I would like to thank Police Chief Finlan for his help and cooperation. They've sent patrols out when we call for them, and we've noticed more and more patrols, so greatly appreciated. We notice the speeds do moderate when there are patrols out there. Also, thank you, Kaylin Noonan. You were very helpful and instrumental in doing the speed studies. We had 2 speed studies done, one in the summer and one in the fall. And these studies have given us some great insight into the actual speeds on Decker. Some of the numbers have been eye-popping. And like Chief Finlan, I'm also a numbers guy. As he always tells me, he's a strict numbers guy. I agree. Well, how do these numbers sound? 93.5 miles an hour. 94.5 miles an hour. 98.2 miles an hour. Mayor Koenig, would these speeds be acceptable on your street?
No.
They're not
And
on
I
ours
believe
either.
I was I'll let you finish that comment.
Yeah, they're not acceptable on our street either. Mr. Morimoto, when we met this summer, you were going to look into some more permanent steps that we could take on Decker, such as lane narrowing and permanent radar signs. Any updates on those? Where have you gotten to with that?
Look, I just want to explain during the public comment section, you just make your comments. It's not a dialogue kind of a thing. I would be more than happy to have staff follow up with the information that you're
Yeah, we can do that.
Right
I apologize. I wasn't
because this
quite
isn't
sure
on
of
the
ground rules.
agenda. We don't get into the weeds and public comment.
Yeah,
But
I apologize.
we will follow up with you on here.
Okay.
Eric's very good at following up on that.
Short term, we would like to see the temporary radar speed signs back on Decker again. When they were out there, they greatly helped to moderate the speeds. So, in closing, we appreciate the cooperation thus far. However, we still need to take steps to permanently moderate speeds on Decker because speeding is still a problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing this to attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Randall?
I'm Randall Kohler, 352 Clare Lane. I received a letter from the Cary PD regarding my home repair fraud forgery claim. It's pitiful how any person of authority could put together such a document with such smoke and mirrors and make so many false implications, especially when it could influence an impending litigation that's going on. I feel these statements show a clear bias and prejudice. These are reckless and show a disregard for the rights of a victim to have a crime fully investigated. First, I'd like to read the law itself because it doesn't seem like too many people recognize it around here. The statute is 815 ILCS 515, Home Repair Fraud Act. Section 3A, Home Repair Fraud. A person commits the offense of home repair fraud when unknowingly enters an agreement or contract, written or oral, with a person for home repair, and he knowingly misrepresents a material fact relating to the terms of the contract or agreement, or the pre-existing or existing condition of any portion of the property involved, or creates or confirms another's impression which is false, which he does not believe to be true, or promises performance which he does not intend to perform or knows will not be performed. Bingo. Paragraph 2, uses or employs any deception, false pretense, or false promise in order to induce, encourage, or solicit such person to enter into a contract or an agreement. That's the law. Bingo. Section 3C, paragraph 3, makes false statements or representations to the victim to excuse his non-performance or non-substantial performance. Bingo. Section 3C, paragraph 5, failed to employ qualified personnel necessary to perform home repair. Bingo. Section 3C, paragraph 6, failed to order or purchase the basic materials required for performance of home repair. Bingo, 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 bingo. Nothing's being done. I'd like to share the smoke and mirrors and half-truths in the letter that I received from the chief. The letter indicates that I entered a contractual agreement. But what has been implied by the Cary PD from the first day that I brought this claim in until this letter, what's implied is because there's a contract, there's no criminal fraud. It's just civil case because there's a contract. That's not true, but that's what's been implied all the way through. It's also been implied that there's a civil case pending, and because there's a civil case pending, there can't be any criminal fraud. That's simply not true. Now, I just read you the law, and it's black and white. There's hard evidence in this case to those facts. I'm not talking he said, she said. I'm talking hard evidence to what I'm doing bingos on. Now, let me get into the deceptive statements that were made by the chief for the inspections that were performed. And Eric, you need to listen to this. Here's what the chief claims, and this was in response to me claiming that things were not done properly by the contractor. But here's what the chief claims. Quote, however, the installation was approved by other inspecting authorities. I guess that was your department, Eric.
Can you direct your comments to the village board, not to staff? This is not a free-flowing dialogue.
Okay, to the board. To the board. Well, let's take a look at the facts, because there's a lot of problems. A proper inspection was not performed by the village inspector. The inspector did not go on the roof. The village inspector did not put up a ladder on the roof or even inspect anything close. I talked to a village employee. They told me they actually do not do an actual inspection, but just verify the work was completed. In other words, basically rubber stamp it. There's a multitude of code violations per international residential codes, a multitude.
Mr. Culler, can I ask you to wrap it up? We allow 3 minutes for this, and you've well exceeded this.
You told me 4 last time.
No, its policy is 3 minutes. We've done everything that we can to convey through staff. They're the best equipped to handle answering your questions on this. I will continue to have staff follow up with you regarding your situation.
Well, I have a really good thing here that I think people should know. See this building permit? This was given to me by people in your building department. Do you want to know what? My roof was installed and there wasn't a valid building permit. It expired.
Okay, we can talk about this offline because there's absolutely nothing we can do about it here right now.
We have, and you know what? I got blindsided. I got thrown under the bus, and you want to talk about it offline? I want it to be public because of the fact people need to know what's going on, and what's going on is not good.
Okay, we've given you your 3 minutes, sir. We've worked with you tirelessly. We've gotten all the parties
You have
and
not worked with me tirelessly.
we have. Our staff has worked to the best of our ability right now with the
Well-
information that we have.
That's the problem. There's not a very good ability.
Well, thank you very much for your comment. We'll be in touch with you. Our chief and our administrator will be in touch with you.
I'll be back next meeting.
Thank you. Frank Smith?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So I know that you come every meeting. What do you want? Like, what is it like that you want us to do specifically? I'm just curious because I feel like I listen to you every meeting, and I just am trying to figure out like what you want.
I want them to do the job.
Okay, what does that mean?
What that means is do the investigation that a victim is supposed to have a right to, and that's a proper investigation. That has not been done. I've gotten smoke and beers on this from the first interview, and everything has been pushed aside again and again and again, and they keep trying to sweep it under the rug. And as I go through and I keep finding more and more things, I come and I bring them here. And I bring them because I find more issues, more problems. He claims they've been addressed. They have not. They haven't even begun to address them.
I still don't know specifically what you want besides a proper investigation, but I don't even know what that entails.
He claims that there was a forgery on a document. The forgery did not happen in the village of Cary. It happened in a...
Okay, hang on.
The information that we have, if there was a forgery, it had happened in a different municipality out of our jurisdiction.
And if you investigate it, you'd find out that that didn't happen that way.
Okay. Happy to meet with you again, like we did before. We'll get the parties. I want you to make sure that you're getting resolved, but we have done what we believe is the extent is. Maybe Attorney Euler could chime in on this.
The staff of the village are hired to address your concerns. They have a depth of knowledge that this board cannot simply bring to bear to your question as you stand at the podium. So you have the opportunity, as the mayor has indicated, and we invite you to address your concerns to the staff. There isn't anything this board can do this evening spontaneously relative to an issue that sounds like it's fairly complicated. So.
Yeah, in fact, it is. It is very.
Right, so you've had the chance.
But the point is, it hasn't received the attention it should.
Understand, so there are people here that are waiting for the business of this meeting to be accomplished. We have allowed you to make your public comment and appreciate you making those. If you have additional concerns, those should be addressed to staff.
Thank you. Frank Smith, please.
I'll be back.
Hello. I thought I was going to get more than 3 minutes, so I guess I'm going to have to eliminate most of what I was planning to say. But I want to talk about my experience with what I'm calling malicious abuse of taxpayer resources. Back in 2009, we purchased an abandoned house in Cimarron, and my son moved in and rented it. During that time, we rehabilitated it. It's a wonderful house, wonderful neighborhood. About 3 years ago, a neighbor moved in who has been harassing constantly, calls the village, curses people at the village, keeps making accusations and complaints, and we just don't know where to turn. We don't know what to do. Talking to people in the village administration, I'm told that they have to take any complaint, no matter how false it is, and pass it on. False complaints are, I don't want a record of false complaints. Maybe some of you do, I don't. And this woman will not cease complaining about my son's house, and she has a long history of doing this. When she lived in Algonquin, she filed over 80 complaints against her neighbors. Her long history shows her moving all over Chicago from house to house to house, never living anywhere for very long. I'm assuming that she's being chased around because of her behavior. Somebody's going to say, oh, why didn't you talk to her? I don't want to talk to her because frankly, I would be frightened to talk to her. She's so unstable. I've never seen her. I don't know what she looks like. I do know that my son and other people who have been to his house have heard her screaming at her husband, screaming hysterically, and he runs around the yard. And then she files a complaint against us. The people who work for the village who receive these complaints are not allowed to say, go away. And I think that I've also understand that she's filed complaints all over town. She and her husband go around town looking for things and filing complaints. I don't know about any of those complaints. I know about the ones that I've had. And the most recent one is that there was a light on in my son's backyard a couple of nights ago. We have addressed the light issue with her again and again and again. The lights are, I don't know, maybe you're not allowed to have safety lights in Cary? The lights are pointed away from her house. They're pointed towards the ground, and they are blue lights. It's impossible to see them for more than a few feet away. And yet she called the village yesterday, apparently, to complain that there was a light on that was in her bedroom window. We don't know what to do, you know. I thought about bringing a civil suit, calling the police on her. I'm not sure. But maybe it's possible to tell people who work for the village, you know, you don't have to take every complaint from this woman. That's it.
I appreciate your concerns. Thank you very much. We have your contact information. I can have staff follow up with you, Mr. Smith. Is there anybody else that would like to address the village board? We'll go ahead and close open forum at 6:17. One thing on my report, I have a proclamation for National Impaired Driving Prevention. Whereas the December holiday season is traditionally one of the most deadly times of the year for impaired driving, and whereas for thousands of families across the state of the nation, holidays are a time to remember loved ones lost, and whereas the Village of Cary is proud to partner with the Illinois Department of Transportation Division of Traffic Safety and other traffic safety groups in the effort to make our streets safer. Now, therefore, I, Mark Kaunick, Mayor of the Village of Cary, do hereby proclaim 2024 to be National Impaired Driving Prevention Month in the Village of Cary, dated this 19th day of November, 2024. You did. Oh, well, late, Ed. And we've been talking about this for a while. The board has been very supportive of some of these initiatives that we've been working on, is to get the youth of our community involved in some of the arts and entertainment in the community. So we just had for the lack of another, a photo op picture, ribbon cutting at the junior high. These kids were aghast. They were just a lot of fun, and they took great pride in their work. And they put together this plan, and Every Drop Matters, regarding the water and the ecological values of it, and environmental safety and preservation. Each box that they made, they were pointing out who had created the art, and that it just was a really fun thing. This is the second piece of art that we've had in the Village of Cary. The first one is off of Spring Street on one of our well houses. Or it's not really a well house. What is it, Caitlin? Wastewater treatment plant wall. If you're going down Spring Street toward it's on your left, it's really quite impressive. That was one artist that did this, but this was a compilation of the art group at the club. Really excited. I mean, they were super excited, and they just love that they just get to drive in and they see this every day. So we're happy to partner with the school districts, and this is two of many more to come. So we're excited about this, and thank the board for their support in some of these initiatives. I think it shows the community that we are driven to get the kids involved in part of our community. So thank you for that too. Did I miss anything else? Okay, we're good. We're moving on here. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items A through G as shown on the village's website and is displayed on the video monitor during the village board meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any comments? No, there isn't, because it's consent. Roll call, please.
Walworth,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Yes.
Collier.
Yes.
We have one item for separate action. I will entertain a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute an event participation agreement with the Cary Grove Area Chamber of Commerce for the 2025 Cary Main Street Festival in downtown Cary.
So moved.
Second.
Let's open it up for a discussion, because I know that there's some comments that people wanted to do. But first, maybe I'll read. There was Trustee Stefani was not able to be here tonight, and he had asked us if we could read a statement regarding this. Pardon me? Oh, you know what? Why don't we do the overview first? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just give a brief overview, kind of recapping our discussion at the last committee of the whole meeting and a couple updates. First, what I have on the screen here before you is the summary of the financial review of the 2024 event. So we, through our village's financial consultant, we had it reviewed, and then we discussed these results with the chamber. So it did correct some of the calculations involved. The numbers provided were correct. I want to assure you that, but the calculations were just interpreted a bit differently in the initial review, and this is the final correct version. So the event had a $50,000 budget as per the original participation agreement between the Chamber of Commerce and the village last year. Expenses came in at just a tick under $49,000. You can see our revenues for sponsorships, beverage sales, the BAX tournament, and the vendor and other miscellaneous fees resulted in a net profit in total for the event of about $14,500. So based on the participation agreement, both the chamber and the village are obviously using those monies as kind of a seed for the future or subsequent event, which would be the result of the agreements we're discussing tonight. Also an update since then, staff has met with the chamber just as in order to prepare adequately to be able to start the planning if a 2025 event is approved. We do need to start making some arrangements early in the process, specifically booking the live music events, as they tend to book fast. So the chamber and village staff are both in concurrence, and we're proposing a 3-day event. So basically, it would start on a Friday evening, September 19th, with live music and the food and beverages. The Saturday event would be a very similar timing as last year's event, approximately midday start through the evening. And then Sunday, we would have a farmer's market style scheduling, starting in the morning and ending about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is a slight tweak from the previous year's event, just to better, I think, encapsulate the attendance and the draw that we had, to line it up with times when people are, I think, more likely to participate. So this is, again, a summary from what we saw at the committee meeting at the last meeting. Only difference here is the dates we populated with a proposal of Friday the 19th of September through Sunday the 21st. Same total event budget, same split of costs between the village and the chamber up front, and then in the revenue side, again, with the goal of breaking even or putting those monies back into the future events. Similar planning committee, 2 members from each group, and then up to 1 board advisor from each group as well as needed. And early termination, should either group wish to not proceed with the event, it would have to be written notice by March 1st. And with that, I'm happy to entertain any questions, and we do have some written comments from Trustee Stefani, who could not be here this evening.
You want questions first? Or
Yeah, let's do the questions first.
So my question is, we have a $50,000 budget again, and we made $14,000, so we're going to spend approximately 36. What if we make 14 again? My question is, if we keep making money and we're over this 50,000 at some point, if we keep making money, are we always reinvesting only in this fest?
That could be determined in cooperation with the board. Now, we're structuring the agreement as the revenues and the costs are both split evenly. So we, in summary, it's a $14,500 profit, but obviously it's $7,250 for each group. Right. We're both aligning in that we're reinvesting it for this next event, but obviously the main initial goal would be to have a little bit of a cushion, safety factor, should it rain, precisely. So we were very fortunate, I believe, in every event since its inception. We've had solid weather on both days, having this extra money in reserve. So we're not proposing, which is a very good point to clarify, we're not proposing that we're going to have a $64,000 budget. We're still proposing a $50,000 budget because this extra money would be that safety factor in case one of the days is not drawing the beverage revenues that we anticipate for weather or other reasons.
Would it be safe to assume that the 50,000 number kind of becomes a not to exceed number?
Yes, as a
Right.
budgetary
We may not
constraint.
spend it all because we
Correct.
have the 14,000 and we get good weather, but that's the cap of what the outlay is. And I would envision that, I know my long-term vision is maybe you all, eventually if this thing does continue to do that well and even better, there will be enough reserves built up, there will be no input from the village.
Right, that's
That's
the
a
plan.
potential.
And that's what the whole goal of it was.
Self-supporting.
Right, that the chamber will do what they want. I believe they're going to continue to reinvest into the fest, but our goal is to be zero cost to the taxpayers. And, I think we're well on our way. I think that there was some expenditures during this past fest that we will not have again because we've acquired them and we don't have to repurchase it. So, again, just building on the momentum that we have right now, I think it's a positive step. And to remain revenue neutral, so we don't have to continuously budget this year after year. So after the few years into it, but I think that we're well on our way.
Is that, so with added the extra day, we're assuming there's no other cost because we, like you just said, we have stuff from last year that's going back in?
Well, it's just like the cap. Now, one of the things that I was going to bring up too, that the third day is a discussion factor, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's 100%. These are things that we're looking at doing to, I actually think a Friday night would be good, although we're a football community. There's a lot more people in the community that would participate in this than in football, then go to football, then come to the event afterwards. But to kind of capitalize on the event better, because Saturday was amazing, utterly. If everybody was able to have an opportunity to go there, it was incredibly amazing. It was so packed. Sunday, not so much. So we're looking at how we can build a better event, create more opportunities. So, that's one of the things that the board can decide within the resolution. I believe it's flexible with the dates right now.
Yes, we can adjust the dates, and we're putting that as a placeholder, because like the mayor mentioned, I think the idea that the chamber staff and village staff have is that the biggest draw and the biggest revenue and participation was from the headliner bands. So having 2 nights of that as opposed to just one night is the thought to help improve the revenue on that standpoint. And then while we still have Sunday, we're not saying it's going to be 50% more expensive. We're envisioning that Sunday would be programmed with maybe some standalone things like the farmers market and not have more
Maybe the violin
putting,
group that went.
yes, not putting money into a
That's
headliner
very-
band,
That's
but
beautiful.
more
Maybe-
background music type of arrangement.
Maybe do more of the Rotary, integrate the Rotary into that kind of a thing.
On the Friday, if we're going to decide on a Friday night, if we ended at 10, can we extend past that or no?
We can go to 11.
Just a thought, we're talking about football.
Chief,
We can
he's
discuss
over
it.
there. He's got-
There's obviously the balance of the event and the entertainment versus the respect for the surrounding community
Yeah,
and neighbors.
right.
Because there's not just the surrounding neighborhood, but we have actually residents that live in the apartments above the downtown buildings there.
Well, it's not just like ending the event at a certain time, it's getting people out.
Out, yeah.
We don't want people lingering around, and, we've been pretty successful. We really have not had, maybe, we might have 1 or 2 incidences with people that were overserved, but we want to make sure that people get home safely and not interrupting the downtown residents.
First of all, I am 100% in support of continuing this agreement. I don't think we can do it all on our own. We've kind of talked about that, some of us, that we're not really wired to be able to just take it on ourselves. I would like to see us, I believe Trustee Stefani would as well, I would like to see us perhaps take over the financing part of it, just us be in charge of the money coming in and out, the balancing of all that, simply because from a standpoint of managing this, it's a very labor-intensive people involved. The chamber did a lot of carrying the water with a lot of the stuff. Not that we did as well as we always do, but I'm talking about just the day in, day out, booking the bands, doing this, working in conjunction with that. And I think that the thing with the budget is having a Friday night is going to increase the
Revenue.
buyout. It's going to increase how much we have to pay also,
Yeah.
though, because if we spent $48,000, thank goodness some of that was for capital expenditures that we're not going to have again. That's going to offset then bringing in maybe another, if we do 2 bands that night or something of that nature. I would much rather see that, and on a Sunday, I personally think we should stop it by 1 o'clock in the afternoon completely, and just have something nice, not even a headliner band, but have things like the it was almost like, you're going to the farmer's market, it was a jazz festival down there, walking with the little string quartet going. It was really a great vibe. But my thoughts are that I'm absolutely in support of it. I think that I'm glad to see that the figures did come out in the way that I thought that they should come out, I think a few of us had questioned last time. And I think we stay flexible with what the dates and times are at this stage and just get it as a placeholder and agree that we want to move forward with it. That's my thoughts on it.
And I think one thing we can do with the chamber is kind of work with them on maybe revamping how we do the bookkeeping.
Right.
I would say that the process of having them be the intake for the invoices and the reservations worked very well. Their staff, I want to give a shout out to Kathy Moran. She did an excellent job with the boots on the ground management of the money and the finances. I wouldn't recommend changing that because it did work so well. But yeah, on the bookkeeping side, we can leverage the experience of our finance director and her consulting firm to assist them in that. I think
That's
that would
what I'd
help.
like to see.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I wasn't there Sunday, but did we have like a pancake breakfast or something? I mean, I think something like that would be pretty cool. A lot of communities, they usually do it with the fire departments. I see oftentimes pancake breakfast, and that might be something to do on Sunday.
Can
too.
Scott commit to that now? Kidding.
I wasn't necessarily inferring that they would, but I just think it's something to bring people down. They're usually, I think it could be very complimentary with the kids' stuff that,
Yep.
you're planning.
It's a good idea.
I agree with you 100%, Trustee Dudek. I love that idea. Working with one of our other taxing bodies or another organization that wants to do something, whether it's the Rotary, whether it's the fire department, whether it's the District 26 Foundation, someone that wants to do something else with us in conjunction, I think would be wonderful to do on a Sunday. But, once it hits 1 o'clock, I'm sorry, but, we talk about Cary Grove football, we're also talking football. It's football season. And people are not, it was not crowded.
No.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll just kind of summarize. Trustee Stefani would prefer that we handle the event on our own. And he also would like us to, if we do choose to continue the partnership, he wants us to handle the finances so we don't have so it just is more transparent and.
I think there was that discrepancy when we got the figures. That's, and of course, that's going to cause us all to look at it and say, how do we work around that? And I think that what Eric is proposing is, they have it set up for collecting everything. They've been doing the sponsorships. But if we have some oversight where we're involved with it, with Kelly, her team, whatever it happens to be, I think that would address those concerns.
Yeah, I think it's a great event. I enjoy partnering with the chamber on this. I think we work very well. It's not our first rodeo, or even our second, third, or fourth. So I think that moving forward with, I'm intrigued with a Friday event, and I love the idea of the pancake breakfast. That would be awesome. That's something that we can think about. I don't know how we would do that, but I think that would be a lot of fun. Get the board and participate in flipping pancakes. Okay. Anybody else have any other comments? Roll call, please.
Weinhammer,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Calpine,
Yes.
Collier.
Yes.
Thank you. Administrator support?
All right, a couple items for you this evening. At the last committee meeting, Director Noonan had summarized and presented about the Safe Travel for All program and the McHenry County Safety Action Plan. So I just wanted to share some outreach on Facebook from both CMAP, the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, as well as the village, with an opportunity to participate in an online survey to list out and identify areas of potential safety improvements for both pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, and anyone that uses the roadways. So this link and that QR code tie into that CMAP online survey, and it also includes an option for mapping those locations that you feel could use improvement. So you can provide comments in both just a survey format as well as it's almost similar to pasting a Post-it note onto a map, but digitally. So we encourage everyone to participate. Again, kind of highlighting Director Noonan's presentation, the more feedback and the more projects we get listed in the Safety Action Plan, the better chances we have of making them grant eligible. So we appreciate the feedback.
Can I make one comment?
Certainly.
Can you recheck the link? tomorrow? They
we-
seem to no longer be working?
Yes, we did hear from that from the consultants
you.
at Epstein, and I believe they're
Noticed
resolving it or in the
today.
process of it.
Yeah, I did reach out to them today, let them know, and they're aware of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. A couple reminders for the village that are typical of this time of year. The last week for yard waste pickup is November 25th through 29th. And that's through Flood Brothers through the usual parameters. And then beginning of December through March 31st is the annual winter parking restrictions to help our public works and public safety staff manage the winter seasons with deep snow. We appreciate no parking overnight, again, starting December 1st.
And just a reminder for those residents that live in the downtown area that they have to get their parking permits to address some of those parking areas that don't have parking for their residential, for the residences down there.
Chief Finland, do you want to continue on with anything?
Nothing else. Thank you.
Nothing else? Kelly, we're going to get enough of you in a little bit, right? You're good? Director Noonan?
No report tonight.
Director Simmons? Nothing. Future agenda items and discussion by the village board. Trustee Dudek had brought something to my attention.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just, kind of thinking about Maplewood a bit. I know we have the RFP process beginning. I know there's been some back and forth with developers and staff. But it dawned on me as I was just thinking about it that maybe too late for Maplewood, but as we have other projects in town that we're doing, I think it would be a very customer-friendly opportunity for us to put together some small billboards that we can display in our village hall lobby about things that we're doing. In my opinion, using Maplewood, for example, I think most of the board members have some vision in their head about what they would like to see happening down there. And again, it might be too late at this juncture, but I think it was maybe a missed opportunity where we all could have gotten together and said, let's get a consultant to draw something up for us with all of our little ideas. If somebody wanted a park and another one wanted a fountain, and somebody said 2 stories, another one said 6 or whatever, but just to have some sort of concept. Because the developers that have brought stuff to the village in the past, I don't know that anybody's gotten super excited about it. And part of that's got to be on us because we've never really shown them what we want. So they put something together that fits on 16 acres, they bring it to us, we go, nah, that doesn't look good. But if we would have had something in the lobby, it's a conceptual thing, like we see oftentimes other communities do, perhaps that would get us a better final product. It would help the public understand. And again, maybe too late for Maplewood, but as we do other projects in the village, I think we've got a beautiful lobby. We have a lot of traffic in and out of here every day. I think we should be advertising the things that we're doing in town and let people see it in some sort of drawn-up fashion.
I agree. That's a great idea. And it's not too late for Maplewood. We're just getting started. And there's other opportunities there in the community right now that we're dealing with out on Route 31, the Damish property, what the development that's coming out here, the letter of intent on the other property. I think that's good. We've been kind of talking about that in-house back when Courtney was here, getting more of these displays up as they come, just so people have an understanding. Nothing's final until it's final, but just so people can see what the conceptual plans are or how it would impact them.
Quick question. So are we talking that we don't think that we're giving enough vision out there for developers, or are we talking for our residents? I'm just kind of curious because maybe I'm right or wrong, and I would going to defer a little bit to to Director Simmons here with regards to when developers are coming in, are they going by our comprehensive plan? Or what are we saying? We kind of want to revisit the comp plan. Is that what you're thinking? I'm just trying to get an idea because I look at whether we have the comp plan, so I'm curious.
Yeah. Great question, and I'll share my perspective. And you kind of touched on it. When people come in, are they talking to you? Are they showing you drawings? Are they asking for your opinions? There's 6 of us here, 7 of us, including the mayor. The mayor may sit on a few of those. Typically, we do not. So there is, in my opinion, there's time and effort wasted because there's not direct village trustee or board involvement in meeting with those people. Once in a great while. I mean, I've had the pleasure of meeting a few, but their development looked terrible, so we didn't go anywhere. I think if we create our vision for what we want to happen on a piece of property in this town, and we got plenty of them that are still open, and spend a few bucks, we're coming to a budget season, maybe we put a placeholder rather, in the budget for advertising, if you will. I mean, we've got to market our town, guys. We got, you know, we drive around here and you see apartments being built all over the place, all over the place. Not yet over here. So we got to market Cary. I think we should have some marketing budget. I think we should have drawings done on things that we would like to see in certain parts of town. I know staff does a great job on their one-on-ones, but then what happens is we see it after the fact. I'd like to have involvement before that even gets to that point.
And have Dan, and have Dan maybe involved in it as well from an economic
Perhaps,
development
yeah.
standpoint. I think that that's great to have a little bit more detail, but I was just wanting, I appreciate you giving me a little bit more detail on what you're thinking there.
Well, just for clarification, the board does see plans that come here, they come through your backup and your packets and things, but nothing that is up in the, like we had talked about, the boards that we have, that people can kind of see what the concepts are in that. I think that's a great way to continuously market what we had, when now, during the fest, we put up a big billboard of the phase 2 of the downtown. People loved it. They couldn't believe that we were even planning that. So, you know, in my opinion, and I talked about it when we're doing these evaluations, we're not good at getting the information out.
Self-promotion too.
Right, and we're so busy doing the work and then moving on to the next thing. We need to take a breath and say, look, let's put this out there, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'd love the front lobby filled with, maybe Minister Morimoto doesn't want all those in there, but I think it's a great way to create a forum for people for discussion in that, you know, and just kind of see where it goes. Yes?
We will work some options and we'll get back to the board.
And we'll work with Kelly tonight about putting a budget number together for.
Like all of our budgets, the first time it's always very small, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Gotta start
it's
somewhere.
got to start. You got to start somewhere. But great idea, and I think that's something that the board would agree with, that we could move forward with. Anything else? Future agenda items? None said. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's 6:43. Hold on just a minute.